How do you, as a FIFA commentator, kind of balance your work life?
It's difficult.
What's a typical day in the life of a FIFA commentator?
A day in the life of a FIFA commentator. I care a lot about like moving. Like I enjoy moving, like movement, being fit, because I'm sort of really into sort of the mental side of things. Like if I sit there all day and I'm editing videos or recording videos, or say I'm commentating on a tournament all day and I've not had any movement in my day, I'm going to feel terrible for it. And it's going to lead to bad choices, whether that be eating bad food or staying up late or just, neglecting certain parts of me. So one thing that I brought into my daily life is I get up at about, on a good day, 7:30 in the morning, and I'll go for a walk. Try and do it every single day. And I'll go for a walk. I live by the sea, so I'll walk down along the seaside.
Must be nice.
Get a coffee, always black coffee, either cold or hot. I'm loving the iced Americanos at the moment, even though it's freezing outside. And I'll walk home, and that's 5K done, nearly 10,000 steps done. And my mind is thinking, I'm thinking about the day. I'm thinking about things. I'm messaging people. I'm starting to get my day moving. I come home. I'm a big fan of fasting. I like to sort of fast in the morning. So I'll go straight to the gym after that. So I'll go to the gym, do a weight workout, and then maybe a bit more cardio in there as well at the end of it. So then by midday or 1 p.m, I'm home for a sort of brunch, lunch, so to speak, my first meal of the day. I've burnt maybe 800 calories or 1,000 calories. And I'm feeling really, really good. But as you said, when you eat, sometimes it then slows you down a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, that's the start of the day. And then for me, it's next up is normally a bit of content creation. Is there any voiceovers I need to do? Any meetings I need to do? Normally try and do a few bits around the house or anything external that's not to do with work. And then sort of evening time is my work. So 4 to 6 p.m. is my upload time. So I'll upload TikToks, YouTubes, Reels, everything goes at that time. And then my live streams will normally go from about 7, 8, 9 p.m. onwards. So that's my day when I'm at home. That's a content creation day. Obviously, a commentating day normally means I'm not in the house. I'm normally in London working away, which is a very different sort of day. Because again, you can't really recall that because you don't know where you're going to be or what time you're going to be needed. Sometimes you work for 6 hours. Sometimes you work for 8. Sometimes you work for 2. It all just depends on where you are, sort of thing.
Okay. Do you still commentate as often as you used to prior to the 2020 phase?
Yeah. So as much as I do, the difference is there just isn't as many tournaments because many reasons. Could be budget, or could be like they've gone for more bigger tournaments and fewer of them, then they've gone for smaller tournaments. So there's loads of changes, but I still do some work from home. So I've got like a sort of studio office where it's soundproof, so I can commentate in there as well, and then use it as a backup to make videos and to live stream, so to speak. So yeah, I'd say I probably don't commentate as much, but that comes from a number of things as well. That's me like having the ability to maybe choose a little bit more about who I work with and what I do. There's a number of rules there. Like I'm not going to work with a tournament that's going to put my relationship at risk with EA. So for example, one thing that people don't know about me is that I can't work with PES, and I won't work with PES because it's a direct competitor to EA Sports. And that's not EA Sports saying you can't go and do that. That's a choice that I need to make. It's a little bit like if you work for Coca-Cola or you got affiliates of Coca-Cola and you go and work with Pepsi and you start promoting Pepsi around, it's just, what's probably going to happen if you go and do that, So that's a big thing for me is I've got a loyalty with EA, and EA have been fantastic with me and Richard over the last sort of 5 years or so. They've given us like a full-time job, so to speak, doing it. Alongside like incredible stuff, like I get the game early every year. I used to be that kid that would queue up at midnight to get the game. Now I get the game like 3 days early, to make videos of it. Like all that stuff is only stuff that I could have dreamed of. So there's a number of perks with that, and I think you've just got to scratch the back of the hand that feeds you sometimes, and make sure you just look after those relationships in the smartest way possible.
Exactly. And what's been, because I love how you're talking about like the FIFA commentating and everything, and has there been a moment where it's like been a fan moment for yourself where you either met someone through this thing or like you done something and you're like, holy crap, this is insane? Yeah.
So last year, there's something called obviously there's the Champions League. But there's the E-Champions League as well. Okay. So there's the E-Premier League, there's the virtual Bundesliga, there's the E-La Liga. Like every single football tournament, there's a virtual tournament. Okay. And people might think, sort of, why is that a thing? It's all a marketing play, really, isn't it? All of these tournaments and all these leagues, are trying to get into that next generation of consumer. And how they do that is via FIFA, video games, social media. So it's a very tactical play, but no one really sees it as that. Esports as a whole is pretty much that. It's a marketing strategy to get people playing the game more. That's what esports really is. As much as there are top players and there's people that make millions from playing games, it's a marketing strategy. So, back to the moment. I've got a couple of moments. And funny enough, they're for the E-Champions League. So for the E-Champions League, EA Sports bring in icons. So past footballers. So last year I commentated with Ashley Cole.
Okay.
Champions League winner.
Yes.
The year before that, I worked alongside Ruud Gullit.
Gullit as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was on the same sofa as Ruud Gullit, talking about his FIFA card in the game. I've had the opportunity to commentate over Yaya Toure and Andre Pirlo playing football. So I've done a little bit of that as well.
Okay.
I was in the same room as well last year as Kaká, Henrik Larsson. I mean, Ashley Cole was part of that, and then Morientes of Spain. So any Liverpool fans out there will know that. So like, the great thing about this job is it just breaks down the barriers so much. Like I get to work with England. So England have E-Lions, they're called. So England have FIFA players.
Yes.
So there's another tournament that takes place every year, which is like the World Cup, but on the virtual pitch. So you'll have like England versus Spain, and Portugal are in there, and Denmark are in there. And like, I get to work with England. Like, that's amazing. I get to commentate over England, yes, in a virtual capacity, but I still get to work with England. Like, it's amazing. I get to go to the Champions League final because I work with the E-Champions League. Like, there's so many connections there. Do you know what I mean? That you'd be like, this is a dream to do. So not everyone really knows about that. Everyone thinks of like esports as this really sort of geeky thing where, you don't really have a life, so to speak, or maybe you're sitting there playing games. But if anything, especially in FIFA, it's anything but that. Some of the opportunities you get are phenomenal.
It's like a whole career in itself as well. And you can even make it into a good business just the way you have as in working for yourself as an entrepreneur. And what's now for Brandon Smith? What's happening now and what's happening moving forward?
So the one thing that people always think is, am I doing this to get into football? Well, I used to commentate on football before I got into this, of course, to a lot lower level. I'd love to get on, Soccer Saturday around the grounds. I'd love to be on Match Today one day. Of course I would be. But to be brutally honest, I think there is more money in esports, because it's such a niche, and there's the rates people can charge in different levels, and from social media as well. Like the rates people can charge is very different because it's such a niche thing compared to maybe traditional football. And also to get into traditional football and to get onto those TV games, you're talking hundreds upon hundreds of commentators that are going to be in your way. And in the nicest way, like I think people look at what I do sometimes and maybe don't take it as a serious, when really, if you closed your eyes and listened, you'd probably think you listen to a game of football. Yeah. It's not, it's literally the same thing. Virtual football, it's the same thing. It near enough sounds the same. So what's next for me? Continue to develop my social media channels. Again, I'd like to dabble with a bit of football if it happens. But all I want to do really is just, I always say this, I just want to ride the wave that I'm on. I really enjoy this. I'm getting to travel now that we're out of COVID again. I'm getting to travel around the world. I think I might be going to Argentina next month. I should be going to hopefully Spain and Germany for the Bundesliga and the La Liga. There's even an Serie A in Italy. Hopefully I can get over to Italy for that. And then the Champions League finals in Turkey this year, Istanbul. So I should be over to that as well. So like, I'm very lucky right now that everything's in the balance. So another part of it is just juggling the balls to make sure everything is still as good as it is. But I'd say, more authenticity is a big one for me. I want to take people on the journey a little bit more. And I just would love to leave a bit of a legacy, which sounds crazy for someone that's in virtual games, but in sort of 5-10 years time, I'd love it if people were like, that's Brandon Smith. He was that legendary FIFA commentator. Yeah. To be in the game would be another great goal down the line. So there's lots, but I'm sure just as well, like every day your mind is thinking you want to do this or you want to do that. Sometimes you sit there and like, I'd like to just pack this all up and relax for a bit. But then other times it's like, no, I want to try and achieve that.